Rob here from Media, and in this video we are going to be talking about using the post element in Elementor. We won't be talking about how you create posts. So let's get on with the video. At Media, we help companies to grow and thrive using the latest tools, tricks and marketing techniques. From websites to online marketing, automated sales funnels, social media and much more. We're always releasing new content on our YouTube channel, so make sure you click the like, subscribe and notification button to make sure that you don't miss out. Just before we get going, I want to tell you about an exclusive offer we have on at the moment. We're giving away free access to our paid Hub platform to the first 50 people that click the link in the description. We're going to be putting this link in the description of all of our videos, so make sure that you get in there as quick as you can. Within Hub, we have created over 100 training videos in 13 courses, including a course on how to build a website using Elementor. You'll also find recorded webinars and a host of other free content, so remember to click the link in the description. Let's get on with the video. Hello and welcome to this video. We are going to be talking about the posts element of Elementor. Just to be clear, this isn't going to be about creating templates for posts. This is about using the element on a page to display them. Before we begin then, I've got a page layout of Elementor full width. I've got one section here with one column in, and I've changed the background color of the section to blue. To get back to our elements then, we just need to click the grid here. Okay, so let's grab our posts element and put this into our column. Now here we can see all of the posts that we have created, including our portfolios, news posts and blog posts. Currently, as we can see here, we're only displaying 6 of these, but if I put this up to 9, say, we've got all of them, which totals to 8 posts. By the end of this video, we're going to have a blog that only displays posts that are categorized as blog posts and news posts. So bear that in mind as we go through the video. We won't have portfolio pieces in here by the end. I'm going to put this back down to 6 for a moment. So for this to work, you're going to have to go to the posts area of your dashboard, create some posts and categorize them as blog or news or whatever you like. In this video, we're going to go through content and style. A lot of the advanced options have their own videos, so I suggest you go and check those out. But for now, let's go back to content. So our first option then in layout is the skin. We've got classic, cards and full content. In this video, I'm only going to go through cards purely because if you choose the other two, chances are you will have something fairly similar anyway that's kind of a card-like layout. I think cards is a really good, tidy preset that you can use on your website. So I think that's the best thing for us to do right now. So our first option then is our columns. We can have up to 6, but of course if you choose 6 or even 4, the content inside can be a little bit squashed. So we are going to choose 3. We've got posts per page. I showed you this just a moment ago. We can choose how many we show. We've currently got 6. Now I'm going to change this to 3 for now, purely because I need to show you the pagination option in a moment. This doesn't show at the moment, but it will come up. And of course I mentioned, just ignore the portfolio cards here in a moment. We are going to filter these out and just have blog posts in a moment. So we can choose whether we want to show the image or not. I'm going to select yes. We can have masonry if you like. So this will take into account all the amount of content you have, the size of the general blog post. It creates sort of like this brick effect. I'm going to keep this off because I want my blog post to be very uniform and tidy. Image size, it's currently at 300 by 300. If you choose 150 by 150, it wants to show the images at 150 by 150 pixels, that is. But of course, these areas are bigger than that, so it's stretching those images up. I'm going to choose large or full in this case so that the images are nice and crisp. We've then got the image ratio. We can see how that affects our cards. I'm going to put this back on the default, which is 0.66. We can show or hide our title, and I'm going to keep that on. We can also select our HTML tag. I'm going to leave it on H3 for now. And we can also show or hide our excerpt. Now, these portfolio pieces don't have any text in them. If we had our blog and news posts up, you'd see how this works. But this is the text or the intro text of your post. And we can also choose the length of this. You'll see this in a moment when I choose the category of the post that we're showing. Next, we've got the metadata. So we've got date and comments here. You can see this is where it's displayed. We've got the date and the comments. I'm going to remove comments because I won't have comments on here. If you wanted to, you could also add author, the time as well. You can change the separator. So if you didn't want this default dot, you can have the like 2 slashes if you want, or whatever you want. I'm just going to show you quickly. That's how that looks if you were to have that in. Underneath, we've got read more. You can show or hide. I'm going to show this because at least your readers or your visitors know what they need to click on to move through and read the blog post. They should be able to also click on images and the heading, but it's nice to have a point of reference for them to click onto. Next, we've got the badge. This shows the category that your post is in. Currently, we've got portfolio. Of course, if we had a blog post, we'd have blog, or a news post, which would have news in it. We can show or hide this, and I'm going to leave this on. If we want to, we can change the taxonomy of this as well. We could have tags. As you can see, we've got tags of web design and graphic design, but I'm going to leave that on categories. We can also show or hide the avatar, and I'm going to turn this off for now, but bear in mind if you leave it on, there may be some extra style options later on when we come to style this. So that's the layout. Let's close that down and go to query. So query is where we'll be selecting which posts we want to show, and currently, as I mentioned, this is wanting to show all, but the most recent posts that I've made are portfolio pieces, and that's what it's showing. So I'm going to select a term, and I want to type in a category of blogs. There we see that pop up, but I also want to show news. So now we can see that we're showing news posts and blog posts. We can select when these posts were also put up, so we can show posts that were put up in the past day, week, month, and so on. I'm going to leave this on all. We can order by date, title, menu, order, or random. I'm going to leave it on date, and we can also order by ascending or descending. I'm going to leave it on descending because this will show the most recent post that went up. If we chose ascending, we can see that this is the first blog post that I ever put up. It's better to have more recent content first so that your users are more familiar with your or are more up to date with your company. We can select yes or no for ignore sticky posts. A sticky post is a post that you're telling your blog to keep at the top regardless of other posts being made. This might be a very important announcement, but I'm going to ignore this for now because I haven't got a sticky post. We also have the query ID. We're going to ignore this for now. This just allows server-side filtering. Our next option after query then, we've got pagination. Of course, I know that I've got 2 other blog posts that are missing right now. They'll be on a second page. And to access them, we can add pagination. We can choose numbers and previous as well. I'm going to choose numbers and the previous and next tags. We can see these down here. We can limit how many pages. So currently I'll only have 2 pages, but we could go up to 5. We could actually have this as many as we like. Bear in mind that at 5 pages, the blog post might be outdated. They might even be a year old or a couple of months old, and you may not want people to even see them anymore. So think about where you want to cap this page limit. We can shorten yes or no. I'm not going to bother with that. Previous and label. The previous label and the next label. We can change this if we just change the word previous or next. And we've also got alignment, so left, center, and right. And I'm going to leave this on center. So that's it for the content part of this video. I'm going to stop for a moment so that you can pause the video, add your own posts. Don't forget to go to the posts dashboard, create some posts, categorize them as blog or news, whatever you like. And then we're going to come back and we're going to style these cards. Okay, so let's style these. So the first thing we've got is our layout. We've got the columns gap. We can see how this affects our cards. I'm going to leave this on 40. We've got the rows gap. So if we had a second row of blog posts, this would be the gap between the 2 rows. We've also got alignment. So this just applies to the content inside the card. I'm going to leave it on left align. So that's the general layout. Next we've got card. The background color then, I'm going to try and replicate the blog posts that are on our main website. So the background color I'm going to choose as purple. I do want a border, a white border. I want the border width to be 5. The border radius, which is how smooth the corners are, I would like to be 0 because we like sharp corners. We've also got horizontal padding then. You can see how this affects the content. I'm actually going to leave this on the default because I think it's a nice even amount of padding, and the same goes for vertical padding. You can see how that affects the cards. We can also have a box shadow. We can turn this on and off. So it's very subtle, but I'm going to leave this on. It just adds a slight bit of depth underneath our cards. Now we've also got the hover effect. We can choose to have none or a gradient. If I hover over the images, you can see the overlay and the hover effect. There we go. I'm going to leave that on as it is. We've also got the meta border color, which is this slight line here. I'm going to leave this as white, but you can see how that changes if I had any other color. So I'm going to leave that as it is. Next, we're going to style the image. So we've got the spacing between the text and the image. I will leave this on the default. We've also got normal and hover options here. So if we really wanted to, we could saturate the image here, but on hover, we could turn normal CSS filters on, and the color, when we hover over, will come back. So I'm going to leave that as that is. We've got the badge. We can position that left or right. I'm going to leave it on the right. We've also got the background color of the badge, which I'm going to put to this orange. We've got the text color. We'll leave on white. We can add a border radius as well to this badge. I actually quite like it being round in this case, so I'm going to leave that as the default. We've also got the size of the badge. Let's make it fairly large. Let's have it at 16. And a margin, which will push the badge in to the image a bit more. I'm going to leave this on its default. Typography, I'm going to choose a font family of Josephine Sans. Next, we're going to style the content. So there's a couple of things to do here. We've got the title, which is going to be white, with a typography of a Matic SC, and an REM of 1.5, I think we'll go for. It's worth noting that there is a separate video for this typography tool. It's a tool you're going to use quite often. Same with the color picker tool as well. I'd go and check those videos out if you haven't already. Let's close this window. We've got the spacing between the title and the excerpt. I'm going to leave it on 18. We've got the meta down here, which is this grey colour at the moment, and I'm going to change that to white so it's a bit clearer. If we had a separator, we could also change the colour of that. Typography of the meta, I'm going to go with Josephine Sans again. I'm going to leave it on what it is. Now let's change the colour of the text content to white, and typography, we want to be our main text font of Josephine Sans. I do like the size of that as it is, so I'm going to leave that with that. And we've got the spacing here between the excerpt and the read more. I'll just leave it as that. Now for the read more, currently it's on this default green. A lot of the colours kind of clash with this purple, so I'm actually going to also go for white. The typography, I also want Josephine Sans. I'm going to leave it capitalized like that. And we can also change the spacing between the meta data there and the read more. I'm just going to leave it on the 0. So finally in style then we've got pagination. The typography is definitely not what we want, so I'm going to change that to Josephine. I'm going to leave all these presets as they are, these defaults. I want the color to be white. When we hover over the previous, next, or the numbers, I want the color to go to orange. As you can see, the orange is there. And then the active, I would like to be the green. So we can see we are on the first page of this, which is green. If we were to be on 2, we can hover over 2. We see our orange hover color there. And if we clicked on it, that would then become green. We also have the spacing between those items, and I'm going to have that a little bit wider than the default at 30. And that is it when it comes to the post element in Elementor. If you're happy with the work that you've done, don't forget to go down to the green update button, and we will see you in the next video.